I am not political by any means, but I have been for a while intrigued and interested in hearing what is uh koala, as I'm calling her, what is her policies, what is her ideas for making the country better, because this election, I mean, that debate was I'd say, honestly, it was just weird, because I'm like, don't get me wrong, um I already go into stuff like this, like, okay, I when politicians say blah 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 this, blah 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 that, these various talking points, it's always, oh, I'm saying this, and like, like, we know you're saying this to essentially, like, invoke, like, certain belief systems, to invite people to your side, right? Say, hey, vote for me because I'm for this. But it's like, when you start preaching more so than concrete plans, then it just becomes nonsense to the ears. But all that to say, I can't wait to see what in the world she has to say. And I may even actually re-record this. So let me try this again. I am uh I'm not political, I'll be honest. But I have been wanting to look into what is Koala's policies, what does she have to say about her ideas of making the country better. So, found this interview, haven't watched it yet, so this will be a on camera live reaction. So, let me just. Alright, and let's see what she has to say.
All good?
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. Good. Awesome. Madam Vice President?
Also, I got it on I think 2.25 speed, just so it doesn't be here, so we won't be here all day.
Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for your time today. Our audience appreciates your time as well.
Of course.
As you know, we're sitting here in a state and arguably in front of an audience that 54 days from now could decide the outcome of this presidential election. Yeah. You hear it more than I do.
That was 6 days ago, so that's 48 days from now? It's crazy.
People want to know more about you and about your specific plans. At the debate the other night, you talked about creating an opportunity economy. I wonder if we could drill down on that a little bit. When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, you know, construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience, you know, but a lot of people will relate to this. You know,
Uh, that's a rough response. I know she's still going, but I mean, I like it. You're down to earth, like, giving us a bit of your perspective and saying you want to invest. And I'm like, okay, is she gonna? For me, this sounds like a whole bunch of yapping. That's I just tell it how it is. It just sounds like a whole bunch of yapping.
and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother, you know, worked long hours, and our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her, our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood, and she was a community leader. She hired locally, she mentored. Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think, the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Opportunity.
$50,000. Did I hear that right?
Startups, a $50,000 tax deduction.
Tax deduction. All right, I'll be honest. I'm not one for economics, but I'm like, so deducting taxes, is that gonna lower prices? But I don't know how much small businesses are in the country right now, but I don't know how much that actually affects the economy. So I'm like, that's not really much of a plan. That's something to do, but I don't know, Koala. I don't know.
To start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Opportunity economy means, look, we don't have enough housing in America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, the American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. So part of my plan is to work with the private sector and housing developers to give them a tax credit, to be able to partner with us as the government, to build, and my goal is 3 million new homes by the end of my first term. In addition, to help people who just want to get their foot in the door, literally. And so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance to be able to just get in the door, and then they will do the work that they need to do to save and to pay that mortgage and to build wealth for themselves.
Okay, so wait, I missed it because a lot of what she says is kind of slathered, it's like the person who puts a chicken on a plate, but like just pours half the bottle of barbecue sauce on it, it's like the meat is just buried in the sauce there. She's like, the sauce is like, oh, like all this, it's like her living, her belief in the American people, and it's like just that tiny bit of meat is briefly what she says. So let me go back there. Something about housing. Let me see.
Dollar down payment assistance. And so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance.
Okay, 25,000 down payment assistance. So first tax breaks, I think for what was it? Crap. First businesses, small businesses, and now 25,000 tax break. No. Like down payment. I don't. Where was she getting all this money from? you just do this. That's supposed to work. I don't know.
To save and to pay that mortgage and to build wealth for themselves and their family. These are some examples of what I mean when I talk about an opportunity economy, and a lot of it has to do with just examples
of an opportunity. Wait, what? I don't understand what opportunity economy is, and I don't know what her plan is for it, but this is far from the question.
The community I was raised in and the people that I admired, who work hard, and deserve to have, their dreams fulfilled because they're prepared to work for it.
I'm sorry, hold on. Let me see if I can get it. But I'm sorry, Koala, but it's like every time you talk about like the small man, and I know the conversation since that debate has been these headphones, right? She's been wearing. I mean, them like when you look at them $1,000 headphone, not headphones, earrings, because they're not headphones, but them $1,000 earrings she wear, I can't take her seriously. I'm sorry.
You talked at the debate and at previous appearances about turning the page on the past, and in fact here today in Johnstown, you're talking about a new way forward. Yeah. I think some people have a question, given maybe your current role as Vice President of the United States, how different you are from Joe Biden, and so I wonder if there are one or two spots, policy areas or approaches where you would say, I'm a different person.
Well, I'm obviously not Joe Biden, and
that's literally what was stated to you. You're not Joe Biden, so how do you differ from Joe Biden? Come on, Koala, you could do better than this. Don't open up with literally restating the question.
I offer a new generation of leadership. And so, for example, thinking about developing and creating an opportunity economy where it's about investing in areas that really need a lot of work. And maybe focusing on, again, the aspirations and the dreams, but also just recognizing that at this moment in time, some of the stuff we could take for granted years ago, we can't take for granted anymore. For example, another plan that I have that is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit to $6,000 for.
Wait,
That
what?
is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit.
I'm at, like, am I hearing this right? The child tax credit? What is that? Hold on, real quick.
Plan that I have that is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit.
Hold on. I just want to make sure I'm hearing this right.
The plan that I have that is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit.
Wow, where's the, they don't even have any, like, subtitles? That's wild. Where are they? Like, okay, let me try auto-generated.
The plan that I have that is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit.
Okay, I read that right. What in the world is child tax credit? Let me see. A child tax credit is a tax break you can take for qualifying children. The nation's strongest tools in terms of millions of families. Okay, I'll be honest. This is not telling me anything substantially about this, but helps families tax benefit granted to American taxpayers. Okay. She's gonna expand that for some reason, and that's a plan she has. All right.
To $6,000 for young families for the first year of their child's life, because that is obviously a very critical stage of development of a child. And a lot of young parents need the help to buy a car seat or a crib or clothes for their kids. And so my approach is about new ideas, new policies that are directed at the current moment. And also, to be very honest with you, my focus is very much in what we need to do over the next 10, 20 years.
But you're not saying much. Like, I don't know. Like, her delivery is weird because on one hand, what she says is very lofty, but on the other hand, it's like there's nothing substantial there what she's saying.
To catch up to the 21st century around, again, capacity, but also challenges.
Crime and public safety are two major issues right at the forefront of voters' minds. In Philadelphia as well, where crime is a significant issue. When we talk about crime, the conversation turns to gun safety as well. And I think you actually probably caught a lot of people off guard, maybe a bit by surprise in the debate the other night when you mentioned that you are a gun owner. I know you said it in 2019 as well. I want to talk about your values on this issue. When it comes to gun ownership, where do you draw the line in America on gun ownership and gun use?
Well, like you said, Brian, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz, my running mate, is also a gun owner. We're not taking anybody's guns away. I support the Second Amendment, and I support reasonable gun safety laws. Part of my approach to this is I was a career prosecutor for most of my career. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I have personally looked at autopsies. I have personally seen what assault weapons do to the human body.
Okay.
And so I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun to also say we need an assault weapons ban. They're literally
Assault weapons ban? What?
tools of war. They were
That's a slippery slope. I mean, that's just coming from me, but like simply if your argument is that like, oh, they're tools of war, they kill people, that's a slippery slope, chief. You may not, like, pretty soon you may not be able to have a anything but a butter knife because tools of war. People use them.
literally designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
Yes, that's what any gun is designed to do, Koala.
I say we need universal background checks. The majority of NRA members support that. Why? Because it's just reasonable. You just might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You just might want to know.
Two final questions, if I might.
Sure.
On the appeal of the
All I'm gonna say is that's bad. That's kind of bad, Koala. No, don't take away liberties that are granted to us by the Constitution. Don't do that. Don't mess with that. No.
man you were running against. So you drove here today, you likely saw a lot of Trump signs. He has an historic appeal in this country. And as you are someone running against him and trying to understand.
You know, that's crazy he says that, historic appeal. Like, Trump is a very interesting, like he's like a yin yang symbol all to himself. Like, it's like, oh, he has universal infamy in this country, but also apparently historical appeal at the same time. I think he's charismatic, right? I think he's a very interesting person. I mean, whenever he opens his mouth, whenever he's talking, people shutting down biased news groups, right? Like, so it's very interesting seeing him. But I think that's very fascinating.
That. I wonder how you distill it. What do you understand his appeal to be, and how do you speak to his voters, or maybe people who just share his values but are open to something else?
Based on experience and a lived experience, no. In my heart, I know. In my soul, I know that the vast majority of us as Americans have so much more in common than what separates us. And I also believe that I am accurate in knowing that most Americans want a leader who brings us together as Americans, and not someone who professes to be a leader who is trying to have us point our fingers at each other.
I think it's interesting she says that, because personally, I think one of the main talking points of this in many elections is obviously, regardless of who you are, what do you plan to do? What is your strategy for helping everybody? And not every president, no president can literally do everything, but can you hit a couple of the pins rather than just missing? You know, like if it's bowling, can you control the ball in a certain way to where most of the pins just knock down because you chose to attack certain pins? You know what I'm saying? And those pins are basically topics in the company, country. It's like, okay, hey, how's the economy? What's your strategy there? I mean, I'll be honest. While Koala certainly does preach a lot about values and belief in the little guy and such, I'll be honest. It's not. I mean, you're wrong. I'm sure a lot of people would want to own a house and small businesses. I don't know. I have no idea. I may have to talk to an economic expert after this. Be like, hey, is what she's saying good? Because I'm hearing a whole bunch of free stuff, and free stuff never helps out everybody long term. Seems like cause more problems than fixes. But that's just me. I don't have any knowledge.
I think people are exhausted with that approach, to be honest with you. I think people want a leader who has common sense and tries to find common ground. I'm supported by over 200 Republicans who worked for both presidents.
You know, it's funny actually. She says that about common ground. It's very, very interesting how people talk about. For example, I heard her during the debate talk about the whole good people on both sides thing, and it's funny how literally, like, going back in that Trump interview, you hear it like where he opens up with just definitive statements, right? Like condemning and just kind of looking at the situation from a nuanced take of, hey, that there are reasonable people on both sides. And it's funny that she says that, because she twisted that to literally say, oh, he's saying there's good people on. I forget the exact quote. I don't want to misquote her. I think too many misquotes are just popping around as is. But she twists that one statement he said to mark it as something like, oh, he's in favor of this. And I was like, it's very interesting how you say you're talking about like unifying the nation. It's funny that you literally speak to that same dividing mindset of, hey, look at this person, he's a bad man type mentality.
Presidents Bush, John McCain, Mitt Romney. I'm supported by the former Vice President Dick Cheney, former Congressmember Liz Cheney. And I think people are more willing now, in light of the hate and division that we see coming out of Donald Trump, to say, hey, let's put country first. And I think that just makes us stronger and more healthy as a country. To say, look, we can all debate our differences around various policies, but let's stop with the division. Like, enough of that. Let's bring everybody together.
And finally, as you introduce yourself,
That was bad. That was bad. I mean, the division we have in this country right now is because we have constantly put off very big conversations until they reach the public sphere, and the public kind of just lashes out against itself over the various opinions, instead of creating these safe spaces to peacefully disagree with one another but still see each other as reasonable people. I think as a president or as a leader, you should be able to say, hey, we all come from different places, and there are real issues, but I think we do need to create an atmosphere of talking about those hard issues rather than simply just putting it off to say, hey, we're Americans. And I get it. She talked about like we can disagree, but we need to talk about why we disagree and have places or have times where we actually invoke the various opinions and differences to quite literally bring them to the forefront, so that we see, hey, we're not so different. Not just say stop with the division. Division is necessary to reach agreement. We have to understand where each side is coming from, so that we can begin to draw closer, right?
to America in a new way. They've heard much of your story at the Democratic National Convention and in that debate earlier this week. If there's one thing that you wish Americans knew about who Kamala Harris is that you don't think they know yet, what would that be?
I don't know. I mean, probably it's not very different from anybody watching right now. I love my family. One of my favorite things that I lately have not been able to do is Sunday family dinner. I love to cook. I have incredible friends. My best friend from kindergarten is still my best friend. I think that, I mean, I have a career that really, and I said it the other day, you know, as a career prosecutor, I never asked a victim of crime, were they a Republican or a Democrat. The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay? And I think that's the approach that most Americans want, regardless of who they voted for in the last election, in terms of turning the page and charting the way forward.
I imagine you're looking forward to cooking Sunday dinner again.
I am looking forward. Yes, I am looking forward to cooking. With the whole family gets involved, the kids each have their role. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the interview. The reason I just made that face, by the way, is let me actually look this up. There's this famous clip that's going around, and it's basically Koala talking, because it's funny that literally she talks about her time as a criminal, like criminal something, but a prosecutor, and it's very interesting that she says that, even though, like, you know, she always talked about, she says she always talked about, like, are you okay? Well, are you sure about that?
I learned.
This is a small clip, but I didn't even, like, this was wild. This is apparently when she was running for president 4 years ago. But, like, let's listen to her talk about how, like her time there, because it's wild. I didn't even, like, when I saw this, I was like, oh wow. And now hearing her say that in this interview, now come on now, Koala, that's not how you really feel.
I think I was, 22 when I started that work. I learned that with the swipe of my pen, I could charge someone with the lowest level offense. And because of the swipe of my pen, that person could be arrested. They could sit in jail for at least 48 hours. They could lose time from work, and their family maybe lose their job. They'd have to come out of their own pocket to help hire a lawyer. They'd
Let's finish this up.
lose standing in their community, all because of the swipe of my pen. Weeks later, I could dismiss the charges, but their life would forever be changed. So I learned at a very young age the power.
So On that note, I think I think we're gonna stop because I'm like, madam, that's a very interesting different tune you have there from what you previously had. I mean, I'll be honest, but like, I know politics is, it's a game of manipulation of, hey, see me as this down to earth guy, but really, you was the type of person that you was the type of person that uh cared about families. Okay, okay, okay. Well, with that being said, like, comment, and subscribe, and 48 days till the election. This is gonna be very interesting because that interview was it was a little it was a little bad, but hey, uh, vote for who you vote for.